Bookshelf, and we are just live on YouTube now. We are being broadcasted. So, first of all, this is not a class. There's no English grammar around here. And I'm not going to correct you. Though, you're going to learn a lot, and we're going to have a conversation about books. And before we start, I'm going to ask you to present yourself, and I'm going to start with Wesley. Go ahead, present yourself, and if you want to introduce yourself talking about the topic, that's okay as well.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. My name is Wesley William. I have 29 years old. I live in Porto Alegre City. It's south of Brazil. I am a data engineer. I like to study, play games on computer, work on my side projects. It's my fourth month here on TNT, and well, that's it. And about the first question, I like to read. Every day I am reading, because it's part of my career. We have to read every time documentations of technology. So it's a part. And of course, books I like to read as well. I have side projects with artificial intelligence, and I need to read some books. Uh, about it and just to try to understand better the subjects. And of course, I like to read another subjects as well, like finance, personal finance. I think everything is important. We need to learn a lot of things like personal finance, technology, and things like that. That's it.
Very good, very good. Welcome aboard, Paulo Vieira. How are you? Can you present yourself, please?
Hey, uh, I am a software developer, and I am 32 years old, and here for the 30th time, and I'm trying to speaking better because in my career I need to speak in English to get better. I don't know how can I say salario money, but I think that is the the best reason. I think I'm very excited to be here, and it will be a great journey.
Yeah, I guess all related to money, it's always good. It's welcome. And yeah, we want to earn more money, increase our salary. That's it. Very good. Sonia, present yourself, please.
Okay. Hello, I am Sonia. I am from Paraguay. I live in Asunción, Paraguay. I am a psychologist. My native language are Spanish and Guarani, but I speak a little bit of Portuguese because my husband is from Brazil, but he lives here in Paraguay for 30 years, I think. I'm here in Talk and Talk since June. This is my immersion number 90. I am very happy for it. I am learning a lot. Now I can communicate me with another person. I can read a lot of articles and I can understand the movies or the series. I am very happy for it. And I felt motivated to continue improving my English and maybe start to learning French.
Great. That's awesome to hear. And we use the language We use the language for
Uh,
that, to talk to other people. Yeah, go ahead.
I use English to talk with other people and to read articles. I'm not. I think I'm not ready to read a book, but I am reading articles of my profession, and it's very good for me because I can increase my area, and I have more information about my profession. It is very important for me. And about the first question, I like very much reading. I read a lot because my profession. I need to be informated and to be actualized in my expertise area. And I read a lot of my profession and something just for fun too. My favorite genre, I don't know, maybe it's a thriller, psychological thrillers, and I like, for example, Stephen King, and
Yeah.
I like that kind of books.
Very good, very good. When Lara told me she wasn't able to attend the meeting today, I took a look on the topic, and I was like, I don't know if I have a lot of things to say about books, because this year I have been, like doing really bad about books. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Chris, go ahead.
Hello,
Present
guys.
yourself. Yeah.
Hello, guys. I'm Crislani, and 23 years old. I live in Calcaia, Ceará, but I was born in Fortaleza. I am a computer science student, and now I do an internship as data engineer because I really like to study technology and data science. So good for me. This topic, this subject is so great because now I am collecting fiction books, and I really like read this subject because already answer about the questions. I like reading and specific fiction books, and more specific dystopia. I don't know
No.
how can I say in English, but this subject is so pretty good for me because I can compare this compare both societies. When I read fiction books, I can compare my in nowadays and to create new words on my mind, and how can I say, questionar certas coisas in nowadays, and it's so good for me. In general, that's it.
Yeah. Usually I read books related to business, self-awareness, self-knowledge as well. It's been tricky, to say the least. But yeah, we're gonna have a good talk, I guess. We have the questions in here. Some of you have already answered the first one. Yeah, I don't know about yourselves, but I have been reading a lot lately, lots of things, tutorials. I do not like to watch like videos to teach me something. I prefer I don't know, it's more about controlling the pace, about solutions, you know. So I go and I try to find things that people are writing about. So besides books, I want to hear from all of you what you have been reading as well. Do you have like a routine to read? I know Sonia said about thrillers and everything, but besides this things, what else do you get yourself reading? So Sonia, wanna try first?
Sorry, which is the question?
Oh, I have just created a new one right now.
Oh,
Besides books, do you read something? Like,
yes, I read articles about my profession. My expertise area is domestic violence, prevention of domestic violence, and treatment to victims and survivors of domestic violence and sexual harassment is a hard topic, and I need to read a lot to be actualized about statistics, numbers, new crimes to attention to victims, about new laws in world or in prevention of violence, and I need to read a lot, and I like to read a lot. I like to know the last news about my area, and since I start to study English, I try to read something in English, maybe some short. Now I am reading more, but just articles at the moment. Uh, I I think I'm not ready to start reading a book, uh, but I will try, and maybe in 1 or 2 months. But I try to read every day something
yeah,
about.
you know what's tricky
Yeah,
about reading in another language? It's to have patience to, you know, when you do not know a word or you do not understand entirely what is written, and then you need to move on. Sometimes you're not going to check translation or the meaning. You just move on and go ahead because you got the whole context, and that specific detail, it's not going to change a lot about your understanding. And I remember starting reading books in English 10, 12 years ago, I guess. It was a pain it hurts, you know. It hurt that because I had to. I remember a teacher I asked him, "Oh, how do I read?" Because I was reading, understanding, but it wasn't flowing. And then he taught me, "Oh, you need to read in blocks instead of each word itself." In English, you read in blocks like 3 to 4, and then go down and then go up. It's like the waves, you know. And then it started to make sense. And then nowadays, I pretty much read in English or Portuguese. My challenge, it's not reading in the language, but reading a book. It triggers me the sleep, you know. I want to, it's really easy to go to sleep, so it's been difficult. Chris, what about the books you read? What kind of books you like most, and do you like reading as a hobby, or do you enjoy reading for, for your job, your career, your studies?
Oh, nowadays, this read a books for me is a job, because when I have a stressful day, and when I want relax, I just get my book, and I I can relax and create new words, and think about um, other things. I can clean on my mind, and it's so good for me. I try to read 10 minutes every day, uh, and so small time, but I can't do it. And because this I sometimes it's so hard, because sometimes I can't read. I have others things to do, but when I tiro this time for me, I feel better. I feel more relaxed, and that's it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because sometimes we are tired, we have other things, other priorities, right? So Wesley, and this is the thing about my immersions, I do not follow questions. I'm sorry. I read them and I try to mix a couple of things, but I try
It's
my
good.
best to make it a real conversation.
Yes, it's good. It's good
Yeah.
for us.
So Wesley, what's challenging when it comes to read for you?
I think the challenge is when the subject is something that you don't know about it, because it will become hard to relate the subject with something that you already know, for example. And if you can't see some similarities in some subject that you already know, you can't create correlations, and the process of learning will become harder. So I think this is the most the hardest thing, I think. And it will not it is, how I can say, um, usually I don't see it as I don't have this difficulty, because uh, the subjects that I read about, it's the subject that I am involved with, like technology,
It
or
helps.
yeah, financial. But sometimes we need to learn something different that isn't in our context. So it's become harder, and I think it's a challenge, and I think we need to have this challenge, because it will help us, and will expand our our knowledge and comprehension about different things. That's it, I guess.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to read, it's more about enjoying the time. Sometimes it feels like it's hard and I need to pay attention to focus, and I lose focus so easily. And then I get tired, I want to sleep, and everything is an excuse. And everything else, it's more important than what I'm doing, like what I'm reading. So I really lose focus, and it disturbs me in a way when I try to read. I have a Kindle that do not use much. I would love to use more, but yeah, it's been hard. Um, Paulo, I want you to hear from you. Do you like reading as a hobby? Do you like reading just to spend time, or because you have like a test, or because of your job? What do you like most? What's the reason that makes you feel happy about reading?
First of all, I need to tell you that I'm with you. I think I'm not reading so much this year. And the most of the things that I read this year is about my job because I need to implement some new features, and sometimes I need to use technology that I don't know yet. And I need to read a lot of tutorials, and I don't like to watch videos too to learn something. I prefer to read it about it because I think it's so much faster than watching videos. Uh, and I usually read for my job, and as hobby, I don't like to read so much. I prefer to play music. It is more relaxing for me than read books or what else.
Great. Very nice. Sonia, we are talking about the things we like about reading, and we have been talking a lot so far. And I'm curious about the I don't know how to say favorite genre. Yeah, genre, I don't know. Like the kind of book you like most, thrillers. Why is that? Do you remember why you started enjoying this kind of books? And why is that? What makes you feel excited about reading thrillers?
I don't know why, because my first book, I remember perfectly my first book. It was Robinson Crusoe. I don't know if you know it, but it's a famous book of adventures. It's the history of man, náufrago. I don't know how to say náufrago in English. And then I start to read. I I read a lot Agatha Christie because my mom had the books, and then I discovered Stephen King, and I read the books, and I watching the movies after, and he attract me. I like the way he has to relate it, and it makes you feel the fear or the sadness. I don't know how to explain, but he's great writer. Um, uh, I I discovered that gender of books, and I I try to find another books of this gender. And I read a lot. I didn't say it before, but I read about the Holocaust because the Holocaust is very important to me. My husband is Jewish. I think I told you in another immersion. My husband is Jewish, and his grandfather died in Auschwitz, and his grandmother and his father uh, ran, could conseguiram escapar, fugir. So the Holocaust is a big it's a big topic for me, and I want to know more of this terrible situation, and I like to read books about the Holocaust.
Yeah, historical moments. I enjoy watching, movies, documentaries about it. I guess the last, I don't know if it was the last or the first, and the first was the last, but I read the Anne Frank story, the book. I guess it was in Portuguese. It was a long time ago. And I remember the feeling of, being really immersive in the story. Like I was there in the scenario and getting the details and this and that. So yeah, this is something I enjoy a lot about reading books, stories in general, that makes you feel and imagine, picture, so it's really good. Chris, do you enjoy more reading books instead of watching them, like in the movies or series, or do you enjoy both? How is it for you?
Oh, so difficult because I love watching movies. And in general, I prefer watching before, but this year vai lançar the movie about I don't know English, Jogos Vorazes, and I try to reading before and watching after. This the specific movie, but in general, I watching before. I don't know why, but I don't know. But I love it when I see pictures and images. I feel how can I say, contemplar. I like it when I
To watch.
contemplo.
To watch.
Watch. Yeah, okay. I like it when I watching environments, paisagens, I don't know. And but when you read a books, you create these pictures on my mind, in your mind, and so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you read, you develop your creativity and you imagine, and it's different of the movies. And I like to compare books and movies. And most of the time, books are very, very are better than movie, but some movies are very good too. The Green Mile of Stephen King's. I don't know if you watch it, the movie with Tom Hanks. It's a famous movie. It's a very, very good movie, like a book too.
But so sad when you read a book and imagine something, but when you're watching, it's so different. It's so sad.
Yeah, I remember.
Disappointed.
Yeah, I watched it. I read and watched the, I don't know how to say it in English, but Crepúsculo. I enjoyed it a lot. By the way, it was really good. But then the movie, it was different. About the things you imagine, you picture in your head. Wesley, do you remember a book that you you read that you enjoyed, but then you got frustrated watching? Did you have this experience?
No, I didn't have it because I don't read any book that just become a movie, you know. So the books that I read is just technical books or something. It's very rare situation that when I am reading something that is a history or something like that, you know. Every time is some specific subject like financial, how the money works, how the economy works, or uh, uh, some technology that I am trying to learn or something, uh, or some biography, for example. But it's very rare when I can't remember when was the last time that I read something that is a history that becomes a book, you know. So I can't answer this one.
Yeah. This kind of questions I ask, especially for you people looking for a job. This is exactly a job interview question, And for
Yeah,
example,
I
you
remember on my interview, the guy just asked, "Oh, what was your last book that you read?" For example. So it's a question that the people just use on the interviews. It isn't a rule because not everyone will ask, you know, but it's something that you can see about yourself, learn about yourself, and oh, why I am not reading something. I can you can give you a chance to start this habit. You know, you can just start and read and improve your mind and improve your knowledge. So it's important thing, I guess.
Yeah, because even if you're not into books, they are expecting you to answer something. So that's why I tell people, join and attend the meetings about topics you are not familiar with, or even the ones you do not like much, because sometimes you are going to need to talk about it, so yeah, I know it's hard to talk about things we do not like, but yeah, sometimes it's necessary because of the business, the job, the event, or yeah.
And
It's all
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Sorry,
It's
Wesley.
all about context, right? So if you're already talking about books, when in the next time you have to talk about books, you have
It's gonna
all
be
the
easier.
yeah,
You have like
exactly.
information already in your head.
Exactly.
When
You
I
said
started,
something.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, Wesley.
sorry. Go ahead.
It's
Go
the
ahead,
second
Sonia. Go
time.
ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Philip said something like sometimes you need to know about something that uh, makes you uncomfortable, right? Some subject that you don't know. So it's important because it's like a muscle in our mind will become better, and daily basis we have some situations that will make us uncomfortable. So I think it's important to exercise that skill because your mind will become more ready for deal with those situations, right?
Yeah, it's like preparation for real life situations. That's how I could explain immersions. So what is an immersion? It's real life situation, present yourself, real life situation, you know Sonia, go ahead. It's your turn. Sorry, I interrupted you.
And no, I want to share with you when I was learning Portuguese, I start to learn to Fernando Verissimo. Do you know Fernando Verissimo?
Yes, it's really hard
Yeah,
to read,
yeah. It, yes, the first time it was very hard to read it, but he is so good. He's an humorist, smart humor. It's good to reading, and I read I think 7 or 8 books of him, and we have this book in our house. And I need to read again because he is very good. He is one of my favorite writers in Portuguese.
Yeah. And it's there are some writers that they are really complicated to understand even for native speakers, But what I like most about reading is you are in touch because we are looking for fluency to communicate ourselves, but reading and listening are things we do not control, but we can learn from it. We can add, we cast from someone else and put in our heads. And then, oh, yeah, let me use it, So it's
I
been a
know
while I do not use the word cast,
I noticed that here on TNT, the way that some people express some idea, I just use it, the phrase or the terms, and I use that, this just improved my knowledge because I am just uh, speaking with the persons here, the people here, and we can just exchange the knowledge as well. So I think
Copy and
it's
paste.
important. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's like in Portuguese we say, there's no such a thing that you create from scratch. Everything is copied and paste. I don't know if it's in English it's like that, but it's pretty much that. Paulo, do you have a book that changed your life? You learned something that changed your life?
I don't think so. I learned a lot of things in books. No, the books learn me about a lot of things, but something that really changed my life, like a break point. No, I don't think so. It's just a small parts that I learned about in the books, but in the whole context, when I get all the things together, I think it's a lot of learning, but I don't think it's one book in specific that changed my whole life.
Great, great. Please, do you have a book that changed your life that you learned?
No, one book. No, I don't think so. I learning about part with parts like
Pieces.
Paulo said. Yeah, just small parts. No, in general, one book.
And you, Sonia, do you have a book that, oh, this book changed my life?
I don't know if it changed my life, but for sure it makes me think a lot. It's a book, I don't know the name in English. In Spanish is Si eso es un hombre, si eso es un hombre, en portugués. The author is Primo Levi. He is a survivor of Auschwitz. And when I wrote that book, I felt so impressive the way he told the situation without angry or sadness or another feeling. You can found a feeling in this book. It's just write about a terrible situation without angry. It's impossible to imagine for me because I can't imagine don't have rancor or I don't know how to explain about this situation that he happened, that he lived, and so it makes me think a lot about forgiveness. Forgiveness is very important thing in our life. Forgive makes us be free. That's that I could feel when I wrote that book. And there's a documentary about this book. It's in English, and it's very good too. It called Primo. You can search in maybe in Star Plus is Primo. And
How do you spell it? Oh, yeah, like cousin.
I put on the chat. I recommend it because it's very good, but if you can read the book, it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
sometimes when I was reading the book, sometimes I need to stop reading because the situation was so hard, and
yeah.
I need to stop. It's very impressive.
In stories like that, they yeah, there's always something behind that we can learn from and do something about it in our lives, right? Yeah. There's a author I enjoy too much, Napoleon Hill, that is like an author with a lot of bestsellers about self-awareness and especially about behavior, mindset, things like that. And there are a lot of things, and it changed a lot the way I see things, the way I see businesses, the way I see relationships between people. And listening to all of you as well and the immersions throughout the years changed me a lot, and it's still changing me somehow, and that's why I enjoy too much this place. Not because of English. I don't care about English. It's just like I was doing a live on YouTube, and I told about the cup, glass, I don't know, the mug, whatever. Like I enjoy English as much as I enjoy this thing or my microphone. It's just a tool, just that. Like I'm not in love with, my microphone. Like I like the colors but it's just that, it's not like, oh my God, no. So I like the message within languages, and like, yeah, Sonia, she has background, experience, life story, Paulo, Wesley, Chris. So I learn a lot from it. Yeah, very good. Do people have anything else that you want to finish this meeting? Like, oh, I want to share something. Do you have anything?
I have a point. There's a book that maybe changed part of my life, maybe. It's called O Homem Mais Rico da Babilônia. When I read this book, it just maybe it's flipped a switch on my mind, and I just understand. I just understood all the importance of start to invest your money to your future. So after after I finished this book, I just started to learn more about the subject, researching and reading more about it, and I think it's an important thing. Start to invest your money, take care of your future, because like you said, Philip, all the things that we have here is a tool, right? And the money is a tool as well. So it's a tool, but we need with how I can say, using those tools, we can have a better future to us. So I recommend this book. It's called O Homem Mais Rico da Babilônia, and
Yeah.
it's a easy read.
You can post the title on the chat, Wesley, please.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I'm not going to, from time to time, I hear from people, hey, we should have a book club, this and that. We tried already a few times, and it doesn't work just because people do not read it. So picture this, it's really difficult sometimes for people to prepare the questions for the immersion. Imagine to read the book. So yeah, it's complicated. And it's not just with me. All the other book clubs I have heard of, people say the same, So, but I'm gonna try not to read a book, but sometimes just prepare a reading section. Oh, hey, this is the section, like, I don't know, 10 lines of like a paragraph or a small article. We're gonna have a class about this. We're gonna discuss. I'm gonna bring a question, because we have like those workshops that I'm bringing some classes to discuss, and then we can have like a reading section to learn vocabulary. Especially, I guess, learning vocabulary, reading, it's really useful. Okay. I don't know if you people notice, but we are changing a couple of things in the website. There is a course section that all the people with the annual plan, you and the social plan, you can have access to the courses for free. You don't need to pay anything, though it is going to ask or show something about payment, but if you try, you're gonna have access. If you can't, just send us a message. There's also a chat button in the website now that we can reply you back. And most important, for today, and actually I'm gonna extend for tomorrow, new subscriptions for the annual plan will get an extra of 1 year. So if you subscribe today or tomorrow, you're gonna add 1 more year for free. Então, quem fizer assinatura anual hoje ou amanhã, eu tinha falado até hoje, mas eu não consegui mandar e-mail, provavelmente não vou conseguir mandar para todo mundo, para ninguém reclamar comigo e brigar comigo depois, para dar tempo também de, né, ver as coisas, cartão, essas coisas todas, deixar para até amanhã. Quem fizer assinatura anual vai ganhar uma assinatura, um ano a mais. Mesmo que você tenha uma assinatura ativa, você também pode fazer o pagamento. Não muda o pagamento da sua assinatura atual, continua igual, né? Quem parcelou continua pagando a parcela. E quem quiser fazer uma assinatura nova, a gente adiciona esse período de 2 anos na assinatura atual. Tá? Lembrando que a assinatura anual não é mensalidade. Tá? Assinatura anual é uma assinatura anual, como o nome próprio diz. Quem quiser fazer assinatura recorrente, só fazer uma assinatura mensal, e nesse caso não tem essa oferta. né, que a gente está fazendo. Ok? We are going to change the members area pretty soon, the layout, so it's going to be better, a little bit better. And there's also the community that's it's being a place where I'm going to share more and more things in there. It's for free, the members, the community area. So the idea is really to grow the community in there. Okay, so I'm going to bring polls, questions, materials, so okay. And I want to thank you, Paulo, Chris, Wesley, and Sonia for a good conversation. Just before we finish, I was almost forgetting this, the survey. So Lara can check if we did a great job or not. So go ahead, fill out. It takes like 10 seconds and I will appreciate a lot. And that's pretty much. Thank you so much and see you around the corner. Okay,
Thank you, guys.
bye-bye. Have a great night.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.